Okay, class, we're starting on section 4.2, order and rounding. We have section A, comparing decimals. Okay, to compare two decimals, we compare digits in the same places from left to right. When two digits are not equal, the number with the larger digit is the larger decimal. If necessary, insert zeros after the last digit to the right of the decimal point to continue comparing. For example, we have 28.253. Now we look here. In front of the decimal, we both have 2 in the tens place. We both have 8 in the ones place. Now we go behind the decimal. We both have 2 in the tenths place. But now we have a difference here. In this first number, we have 5 in the hundredths place and 6 in the hundredths place. And we know 6 is greater than 5. So 28.235 is less than 28.263. Says tip, remember that you can add zeros to the end of a number after the decimal point without changing the value of the number. Use this fact to make both decimals the same length so they are easier to compare. For example, when it says adding zeros won't change the number, let's take $1. This is $1, or we could write this as $1. They are exactly the same thing, even though we added zeros here. Now let's scroll down to example set A. It says here, insert less than, greater than, or equal to form a true statement. Now we have 16.208 in comparison to 16.28. Now watch this. Both of them have ones in the tens place. They have sixes in the ones place. After the decimal, they both have 2's in the tenths place. And then now in the hundredths place, we have 0 here and we have 8 here. Now we know 8 is larger than 0, so this is greater than. Now we come here. In front of the decimal, we have 0. We both have 1's in the tenths place. We both have 1's in the hundredths place. Okay, now we had 1's in the hundredths place. Now we go here. We had 3 zeros here. So we know these 3 zeros mean that this is still 0.11, which is the same as this here. So this is equal. Okay, now we have a negative 1.5 and a negative 0.8. To determine which one of these is larger, first of all, which one of these is furthest from 0, since both of them is negative? This is furthest away from 0, so that means that this negative 0.8 is greater than a negative 1.5. Okay, now you can look at this as money. Would you rather owe 80 cents or would you rather owe $1.50? Of course, you would rather owe only 80 cents. Now we go to number 4. Both of these are negative. Now let's look at these numbers because they're a lot longer than the previous numbers. These zeros match up. These zeros first digits behind the decimal. So we have zeros in the tenths place. Now we go here, we got 3's in the hundredths place. Now in the thousands place, we got a 9 and we got a 0. Now we know if these negative signs were not here, this 0.039 will be further away from 0 than this value here. So this is greater. So now we scroll down here. Rounding decimals. Okay, let me explain rounding decimals. Rounding decimals is somewhat like we were doing when we rounded whole numbers. The only difference is when you round a decimal, every digit behind that place value drops off. It does not turn into 0. So for instance, let's say we wanted to round this number to the hundredths place. Okay, so the first thing we would do, just like we would do in any other situation, we'll go one place value past the place value we want to round to. Now we know with 0 through 4, it stays the same. And then we know 5 through 9, we add 1. So now this falls in the group of 0 through 4. So that means that this place value stays the same. So it'd be 24.95. We cannot go past the hundredths place in our final answer, which we have here. If you put zeros behind this hundredth place, your answer is incorrect. Now let's scroll down and try a few problems. It says here round, we have 51.2816 to the nearest thousands. So we would go to the 10,000s place, which is this 6. Now this 6 falls in the 5 through 9 category, so we would add 1 to the thousands place. And our answer would be 51.282. Now we go here. We want to round this to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so we will go to the thousands place. Now this 1 we know falls into 0 through 4, so that means the hundredths place stayed the same. And we drop everything behind it. Okay, now we go here to number 3. Now this is negative, but we still look at the place value. It says to the nearest whole number. So that means that we're going to round to the ones place. That's what it means when it say nearest whole number. They want you to round to the ones place. So we know the place value next to the ones place is the tenths place. So this falls through the 5 through 9. So we add 1 to this 9 here, and this will end up being a negative 120. Now we go to number 4. Pi is roughly, and they give us an approximation here, but it continues to go on forever. We want to round pi to the nearest 100,000s. So we will go to the millions place. So it's tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000, millions place. So 2 is in the millions place, so that means we keep the 100,000s place the same. So it'd be 3.14159. Now we scroll down here to number 5. Water bills in Gotham City are always rounded to the nearest dollar. Round a water bill of $24.62 to the nearest dollar. They want you to round to the $1 place, which is the ones place. So we look to the right of it. That's between 5 to 9. So our final answer is $25. Now we go here to section 4.3, adding decimals. Adding decimals is similar to adding whole numbers. In adding whole numbers, the main rule is to line the digits up in corresponding place value, then add from right to left. Now, in adding and subtracting decimal, we write the decimal so that the decimal points line up vertically. Step 2, add or subtract as with whole numbers. And step 3, place the decimal point in the sum or difference so that it lines up vertically with the decimal points in the problem. So now let's go through here and let's take a look at number 1. Now, we will have, this would be 21.32 plus 6.27. Now what we're supposed to do here is line up the place value. You know that this 2 is in a hundredths place and so is this 7. This 3 is in a tenths place and so is this 2. We have our decimal point. 6 is in the ones place, 1 is in the ones place. And we have this 2 in the tens place. So we could bring our decimal down and we add 7 and 2 is 9, 3 and 2 is 5, 6 and 1 is 7, and we'll bring down our 2. So it's 27.59. Now we go here to number 2. Now we have 0.221 plus, now we know in the ones place we have this 5, so it'd be 105 decimal and then 2. Now we can add zeros here as place values. So 1 plus 0 is 1, 2 plus 0 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4. Bring down your decimal. 0 plus 5 is 5, and we'll bring down our 10 here. So it'd be 105.421. Now we go here to number 3. Basically same setup. 1.765 plus it'll be 2.889. Now we added 9 and 5 is 14. We carry our 1. 8 and 6 is 14 plus 1 is 15. Carry our other 1. 1 and 7 is 8 plus 8 is 16. Carry our 1. And we bring down our decimal. 1 and 1 is 2 plus 2 is 4. So it's 4.654. Now we go here to number 4. We will add 23 plus. Now we know in any whole number, we know the decimal is at the end of that whole number. So we know 5 is in the tens place, 9 is in the ones place, put our decimal, and 41. So we will add our zeros here. 1 and 0 is 1, 0 and 4 is 4, bring down our decimal. 3 and 9 is 12, carry it 1, 1 and 2 is 3, plus 5 is 8. So it's 82.41. Okay, now we're going to add number 5. So we add 10.21. And then we will have, in front of our decimal, we have 54.013. And then finally, we will have 272.595. Now, if you look here, we lined up all of our decimals. We can add a 0 here. This is the thousands. This is the hundreds. This is the tenths. This is the ones. This is the tens. And this is the hundreds. So we bring down our decimal and we add. 0 plus 3 is 3, plus 5 is 8. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 9 is 11. Carry our 1. 1 and 2 is 3, plus 5 and 0 is 8. Now 0 and 4 is 4, plus 2 is 6. 1 and 5 is 6, plus 7 is 13. And 1 and 2 is 3, so it's 336.818. Now we go here to number 6. We have 11.77. We have 66.5. And finally, we have 19. Now, we know what that 19 is, 19.00. And we add a 0 here with the 50. So 7 plus 0 plus 0 is 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. Plus 0 was still 12, so we'll bring down our 2. Carry our 1. 1 and 1 is 2, plus 6 is 8, plus 9 is 17. 1 and 1 is 2, plus 6 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So it's 97.27. Okay, now subtracting decimals, same rules. Basically, we subtract from, well, actually it's kind of backwards. We subtract, well, it's still from right to left. And we start at the right and go to the left. Okay, now let's go here to number 1. We need to line this up. It's 82. Yeah, we have 82.75 minus 15.9. We have to make sure everything lines up. These are the hundreds, the tenths, the ones, and the tens. We bring down our decimal. 5 minus 0 is 5. We know we cannot take 9 from 7, so we will have to borrow 1 from this 2, and this 7 will become 17. 17 minus 9 is 8. We know we cannot subtract 5 from 1, so we borrow 1 from this 8. That becomes 7, and this 1 becomes 11. 11 minus 5 is 6, and 7 minus 1 is 6. So it's 66.85. Now we go here to number 2. We have 126.032 minus 95.71. Remember, we lined them up so they would follow their appropriate place value. So now we add 2 minus 0, which is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. We know we cannot subtract 7 from 0, so we'll borrow 1 from the 6 and make it 5. The 0 will become 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. Bring down our decimal. 5 minus 5 is 0. We cannot subtract 9 from 2, so we'll borrow 1 from this 1, which would make it 0. And this 2 would become 12. 12 minus 9 is 3. So now we scroll down here to number 3. 53 minus a negative 29.31 will give us 53 plus 29.31. Because we know those two consecutive minus signs with no number separating them becomes a plus. So 0 plus 1 is 1. 0 plus 3 is 3. Bring down our decimal. 3 plus 9 is 12. Carry your 1. 1 and 5 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So it's 82.31. Now we look here. These have the same sign. You know, whenever we have the same sign, we add them together and carry the sign. So we could write this without the negative sign, and we know we're going to add them. But we'll add the negative in our final answer.